But when I met Charlie and we had our babies, I was in it. That was all hands on deck. I would take that world in a heartbeat. Always. But you know what? There was never any daylight between Charlie and his mission was my mission.
The story no longer begins with grief alone, because grief, when repeated often enough, has started to collide with doubt. What was once a nearly unanimous outpouring of sympathy for Erika Kirk has slowly fractured into two opposing reactions: compassion on one side and growing skepticism on the other. In the immediate aftermath of her husband's death, Erika was widely described as a victim of unimaginable loss, a woman who had lost not only her spouse but also, as some claimed, her children. That framing carried emotional weight and discouraged hard questions. But over time, critics argue that sympathy itself became a shield, one that made scrutiny seem cruel rather than necessary. As new inconsistencies surfaced, the question shifted from whether Erika deserved empathy to whether empathy was being used to silence legitimate inquiry. That tension exploded into public view when Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna stated that Erika had lost her kids. The comment spread quickly, triggering shock and confusion. Many interpreted it as confirmation of a custody ruling or legal removal of children, a serious claim with profound implications. Within hours, however, the statement was walked back. Luna clarified that she had misspoken and did not mean to imply a legal loss of custody. The retraction only deepened suspicion. Observers asked how such a sensitive and specific claim could be framed as a simple mistake. Was it a careless slip, or was it an intentional redirection designed to pull attention toward a less damaging narrative? The ambiguity left behind did more harm than the original statement because it suggested that words were being deployed strategically, not accidentally. Critics soon began to argue that what followed looked like coordinated damage control. Anna Paulina Luna is reportedly close to Erika, and skeptics believe her intervention was not random. By introducing a dramatic but vague claim about losing kids, attention was pulled away from deeper questions surrounding Erika's past, her timelines, and her credibility. The controversy shifted public focus towards sympathy and outrage, emotions that crowd out analysis. Even after the comment was corrected, the conversation remained trapped in confusion. To critics, this was not a failure of messaging but a success. The original questions were sidelined, replaced by debates over wording and intent. In an environment where perception moves faster than facts, even temporary misdirection can be powerful. As the custody narrative weakened and failed to produce concrete evidence, attention pivoted toward a far more unsettling claim: that Erika may never have been pregnant at all. This idea, once considered too extreme to entertain, began gaining traction among online investigators and commentators who argued that the evidence simply did not add up. If the children were not legally removed, then who were the children shown publicly? And if those children were hers, why did so many details surrounding their ages, appearances, and timelines seem inconsistent? What began as fringe speculation gradually entered mainstream discussion, fueled by unanswered questions rather than definitive proof. One of the most persistent points raised by skeptics involves the apparent ages of the children in photos shared publicly. Observers argue that the children do not appear to match the birth dates Erika and Charlie publicly stated. While children grow at different rates, critics say the discrepancies are too large to ignore. Side-by-side comparisons, though informal, suggest mismatches in developmental stages. Supporters dismiss these claims as invasive and speculative, but critics counter that age discrepancies are not subjective impressions, they are measurable realities. The absence of clear, verifiable timelines has allowed these doubts to grow unchecked. Compounding the issue is what critics describe as a striking lack of verified pregnancy evidence. Erika has lived much of her life in the public eye, sharing intimate details, personal reflections, and controversial moments without hesitation. Yet there are no widely available photos or videos showing her visibly pregnant. The only piece of evidence consistently referenced is a short, grainy ultrasound clip. In an era where pregnancies are often documented extensively, especially by public figures, this absence feels unusual to skeptics. They question why someone so open about personal experiences would draw the line so firmly at pregnancy documentation, especially when doing so would quiet speculation instantly. The ultrasound footage itself has become a focal point of doubt. Critics point out that the sonogram displays Erika's maiden name rather than her married name, a detail they argue is inconsistent with standard medical record practices, particularly for someone publicly married at the time. While there may be explanations for this discrepancy, none have been clearly offered. Instead, the clip has remained unexplained, treated as self-evident proof rather than evidence requiring context. For skeptics, this silence is telling. When evidence raises more questions than it answers, it ceases to reassure. Adding to the confusion are Erika's own conflicting statements about childbirth and family planning. At one point, she reportedly said she had undergone 2 C-sections, a significant medical detail that often influences future pregnancy decisions. She also expressed hesitation about having more children. Later, however, she spoke publicly about wanting 4 kids with Charlie, a statement that appeared to contradict her earlier narrative. While people can and do change their minds, critics argue that these shifts were never explained, leaving gaps that undermine credibility. Inconsistency alone does not prove deception, but repeated contradictions across core life events naturally invite skepticism. At the center of all this speculation lies an unresolved and deeply sensitive question: what role, if any, did Charlie Kirk play in this narrative? Some believe he was entirely unaware of any alleged deception, a man who trusted his spouse and accepted what he was told. Others suggest a more complex possibility, that he may have been involved initially and later attempted to distance himself as doubts emerged. Supporters of Charlie emphasize his reputation for discipline and structure, arguing that it is difficult to imagine him participating in such a scheme. Critics counter that even highly disciplined individuals can be manipulated, especially in personal relationships. Without direct testimony, the truth remains elusive. This uncertainty has fueled a broader theory among some commentators that the entire situation represents a staged narrative, part of a larger operation designed to manage public perception rather than reveal truth. Often referred to as a SCOP or strategic operation, this theory suggests that public figures, sympathetic politicians, and carefully chosen talking points are deployed to shape emotion and suppress scrutiny. In this framing, confusion is not a byproduct, but a tool. When the public is unsure what to believe, accountability becomes difficult. While such theories remain unproven, their popularity reflects a deeper erosion of trust.
What makes this story so polarizing is not the presence of definitive evidence, but the absence of clarity. Supporters see relentless speculation as cruelty toward a grieving widow. Critics see unanswered questions as red flags that demand investigation. Between those positions lies a growing group of observers who simply want transparency. They are not interested in character assassination or blind defense. They want timelines that make sense, evidence that aligns, and explanations that do not shift with convenience. Until those are provided, the debate is unlikely to fade. In the end, this story underscores how quickly sympathy can turn into suspicion when narratives conflict and questions go unanswered. Whether Erika is a victim of unfounded attacks or the architect of a carefully managed image is a question that cannot be resolved through emotion alone. Facts, if they exist clearly, have a way of ending speculation. Until then, the controversy will continue to evolve, shaped by what is said, what is retracted, and what remains conspicuously silent. For those following this unfolding story and seeking clarity as new details emerge, hit the subscribe button to stay updated on future developments.